Hummingbirds off the deep end here at the CCA workbench.
Those children are getting a lot of free clinics, aren't they?
Yes, yes. You
Good on 'em.
love dolphins, so let's just get
Well,
right
you
to
know,
it.
I kind of most everybody, when they go fishing offshore for the first time, you're either going to catch a kingfish or a dolphin. And one of them's really good to eat, and the other one's okay to eat. You know?
Right.
And the dolphin's really good to eat. So when I go fishing out of Cape Canaveral, there's 3 fish I'm fishing for. It's a dolphin, a wahoo, and a kingfish. And usually I want to catch the wahoo and the dolphin.
Right.
And dolphin is, like we've been talking about, he's a great fish to catch. He grows very fast. 90% of the dolphin fish that we see are under 2 years old. 90% of them. If a fish gets 3 years old, he's pushing 30 pounds or more. 4 years old, 50 pounds.
Oof.
If he gets to 5 years old, he's 70 and up to almost 100 pounds. I think they got a 100-pound world record. And I've caught big dolphin by trolling big lures. They're very, more so than a lot of other offshore fish, they like to eat things that are relatively to the size of their mouth. And that's not saying that a little dolphin won't pile onto something big, but for most part, if you're pulling big stuff, you'll catch bigger dolphin. If you're in a place where there's a lot of big dolphin, don't be afraid to pull big lures, you know, like even marlin lures. We catch big dolphin on marlin lures. The biggest dolphin I ever caught personally was in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and it was a 70-plus pound dolphin. We didn't put it on a scale that ate a Braziliano,
Wow.
which is a big black Bart lure on the short corner, and it was a monster fish. But for around here in Florida, any small to medium-sized lure, I love all these lures. You pick any one of them up. These are the Williamson little dolphin smashers. The island lure, you know, we have island lures on here all the time.
Right.
A pink island lure with a ballyhoo, any of the, I like blue and silver, anything flashy. Dolphins are very, they're sight-oriented. No dolphin has ever tasted anything before he piled onto it, just like most of the pelagic fish that we fish for. So if they see something moving through the water, he's one of the few fish you can see him from 50 feet, maybe even 200 feet away sometimes, piling into the
on those
spread.
calm days.
Yeah, you'll see them coming. Because they can see a long way. They use their eyeballs to find things. So anything that's flashy or makes a pop, I like little super chuggers like this one because it's a small profile. I can pull it on relatively light line where it's not pulling, but because it's got a super chugger head, it makes a big smoke trail and it looks bigger than it is. So, if you're using that little Machaira there as a trolling rod and reel, you don't have to worry about piling 50-pound test line to pull some of these smaller lures.
Right.
You can pull smaller lures, smaller headed lures with lighter line. And you really don't need to have a whole lot of heavy line when we're fishing for these dolphin and stuff because their mouths are relatively unabrasive. They have small teeth, but we don't need to have wire.
Now, when you get in the schoolies, Dave, is there any suggestion to
chum? Put chum up. Chum them up there. When you get one on, keep it in the water because they tend to stay with that fish. The reason they stay with that fish is because that fish, as soon as he gets hooked, he starts puking. He'll jump and he starts throwing stuff.
He's chumming for you.
And he's chumming for you. Those other fish stay with that fish because of that. As soon as he stops all that mess, hook another one and get that one out. Because if you just got one swimming around and he's not jumping and throwing up, they won't stay with that fish anymore. So you got to keep that new fish on the line rotating through.
So you should have a spinning rod
You
ready?
should always have a spinning rod ready, no matter if you're dolphin fishing, cobia fishing, or whatever. When you go offshore, you should always have a spinning rod ready, and it should have a nice a jig on it, or a nice big with a jig with a curly tail, or a spoon, or even Williamson. These little Williamson jigs.
Yeah.
These things work great
because
you can cast that thing a mile.
Right.
And when you get a lot of dolphin around, you get a bunch of schoolie dolphin around. The big fish are going to be the outskirts of that school. If you can throw a topwater plug a long way, that's going to get the big dolphin bite. If you can get down deep under that big school of dolphin, that's going to get the big dolphin bite. You want to be below, because those big dolphin, they'll eat little ones too. So they'll be underneath of them or on the outskirts.
I learned a lot.
Well, I wouldn't
Thank you
doubt
so
it.
much. Thank you. I know. I mean, your dolphin is like my tarpon, and
Exactly.
we get to play off of each other.